Okay, so let's start. Any question before we start? No questions? Okay. So let me ask some question. Anybody can answer. So you have done special theory of relativity in the earlier classes. So have you done some bit of a three-dimensional tensor, use their identities and so on?
No, sir.
No, sir. Tensors were not introduced to us in classes.
Yes. Have you done simple tensor algebra related things in any of the courses? It's okay. I just figure out whether I should be doing this or should I skip. That is the only reason I am asking. So let me go ahead. It looks like uh, you guys don't want to answer.
Sir, actually, I think you can't hear us. Can you hear us? Hello? No. Okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my mic was on silence for some reason. Not mic. What was that?
Speaker. So
Yeah.
we are saying that we haven't dealt with tensor identities yet. Like we did some of the four vector notation in like the
Oh,
QFT course, but like not in this.
no, you didn't do some simple vector calculation using tensor notation and so on.
We did some of the special theory calculation in the QFT course, but like that was just to like use as a tool for QFT.
Okay. No, no, this is not related to special relativity. It's just getting a hang on the what we can do with the tensors. So let us do with the uh, some simple identities and use. This is going to be just a fun lecture in the sense that you are going to rederive some of the vector identities which you find very tedious, or sometime you have to remember all these things, how they easily can be done using the tensor. So first thing you should remember here is that we are using a 3D Euclidean space. I seems to have suddenly lost my appetite for writing a lot of things. Okay, that is R3. So it is going to do simple vector algebra or calculus. So GAB in this case is simply delta AB, that is equal to simply 1, 1, 1, 0, and 0. So there is no change. It's not a Minkowskian metric. So it is just going to be our standard vector calculus, but it is done with the index notation. So have get some hands-on. It's just a simple one, simple things, but you will find that this is fun way of doing your vector identity instead of doing it through way you have done. First, we define a quantity called a permutation tensor. Okay, so this is a tensor, again three-dimensional in R3. okay, or 3D. Now this both note that upper covariant and contravariant does not have any difference when you have a Euclidean distance, or metric is 1, 1, 1. So I can use the same symbol for it. So I define a completely antisymmetric tensor, which is called the what you call permutation tensor. It takes the value of minus plus 1 if index I, j, k are even permutation. Even, okay, I think it is too big. Even permutation that is of 1, 2, and 3. There is no 0 because it's a 3D Euclidean space. And it is a minus 1 if ijk comes in odd permutation. And it is 0 if any two are equal. Let's look at the sum of the values. Let us look at epsilon 1, 2, 3. This is going to be 1 because it is coming in the even permutation. And same way, you have a 2, 3, 1 cyclic permutation you can do, and you get same thing. So these are all 1. So these are all even permutation of 1, 2, 3. Now let's look at this. 1, 3, 2 is equal to, this would be minus 1 because it's an odd permutation of 1, 2. You can never reach by single rotating any of these to 1, 2, 3. And the same way, epsilon 2, 1, 3 is equal to minus 1, and epsilon 3, 2, 1 is also equal to minus 1, just simply because it is coming in the odd permutation. Now carefully look at these two guys. Okay, what it says that 1 is remaining same, 2, 3, 3, 2. So this means it is antisymmetric in the indices of second and third, exchange of second and third. The same way you will see here also, and all the things you see that any two index, if you interchange, it is going to be antisymmetric. That is why it is called completely antisymmetric tensor. And for a completely antisymmetric tensor, the diagonal component along any direction should be 0. So that is to say that epsilon 1, 1, 3 should be 0 because two indices never should be same. If two indices are same, then this would be 0, and 3, 2, 2 is equal to 0, etc. So have you come across the this permutation tensor in detail and how to use it?
Yes.
Huh? Yes or no? I heard something like yes.
Yes, sir.
So should I, you know the how to contract them and so on, get the identity in delta ij?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then you are familiar with this. Let me write down one identity and see you have done a calculation connecting with this. Epsilon I PQ is equal to delta A T delta BQ minus delta AQ and delta BP. So you are familiar with this identity. Okay, that's good. So let me skip some of the things and straight away come to what is known as a cross.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, actually, I'm not familiar with this.
Okay. Uh, so let us. Somebody said he is not familiar. Okay. What does it mean? There is an identity which says that when you contract one index, the first one actually, then you can get the cyclic permutation. These two, it can be represented in terms of a delta function, but the relation given here. So, of course, you might say that it is too hard to remember. Usually if physicists have a very short memory, they want everything to do from first principle. That is not correct. You mug up, or there is another method. This can be used as a memory device. So this actually is a determinant of type delta BP and delta BQ. So now if you see this determinant, so this is equal to delta AP. So you multiply this delta BQ minus delta AQ and delta BP. Okay. So this is an identity which plays an interesting role in using the various vector identity. Okay, let's get to some business. Let's define the cross product. Okay, let A vector and B vector be vector in R3. Okay, so AIs and BI are component. Now a vector CI, C is equal to A cross B. So this is what we are going to define. That is equal to epsilon ijk aj bk, or if you feel like writing upper indices, then you could write like this: epsilon ijk jbk. So this is how you define the cross product, and then dot product between the vector A dot A is given as AI. So this is your dot product. So this is a cross product. Now you see that various tensor identities can be simply done using the properties of epsilon ijk. Now one thing you should know is that the A cross A is 0, because when you take the dot product, these two index repeats, and if two indexes are same, then it is 0, or Bij, epsilon ijk is anti-symmetric tensor. If you multiply a symmetric tensor with respect to that, that would be 0. So it's a trivial result. We are not going to bother about. The scalar triple product, A dot B cross C is equal to AI epsilon I PQ AP BC. Okay, sorry, this has to be BP and CQ. So this is how it goes. It is a scalar triple product. So this comes to definition. Let's do a simple vector identity. Now you also know that A cross B is equal to minus B cross A. So that also can be trivially obtained from the properties of epsilon ijk. Now let's try to do an identity. Does anyone remember what is this? How we should write in terms of vector identity? Anybody remembers?
Sir, A dot BC minus A dot A dot CB minus A dot BC.
Okay, you may be correct. Let's check. Let's try with this method. If you have a little more time than little more memory, so this is a way you would like to do. So you have a, I'm writing what is inside bracket, and this here it should come AI. So, but it is a cross product. So you see that that A cross B can be written as LM I into AM. That means this thing whole together can be written as epsilon LMI AM into epsilon IJK into BJCK. Okay, then you have used this and this. You see that it is not in the convenient form. If you look at the definition given here, it requires first index to be repeated and then should come other two. But it is not in that format. So you may use your permutation rule. You simply rotate it once and then you would get it in the format which you want. Okay, so that would be simply epsilon I. There is no sign change because it's a cyclic permutation. So I combine these two. Then you have AM, BJ, and CK. Now we use this identity. We get delta L, J, delta M, K, minus delta L, K, into delta M, J. This is this into BJ, CK, and AM. Now you simplify this. That product of delta Ij becomes simple. So first quantity become BL. The second one is a dot product because it's now is a repeats over CK and AM. So you can use any one, CK, CM, or CK. And the same way here you will have a CL, which is the free index, and the dummy indices are J or M. So whichever you want to use, you can use, or you simply, oh, I mixed it. You cannot mix it up. Okay, this should be K. So I use the same thing as K because it's dummy indices. It doesn't matter what you call it. So I call it K at this stage. Now let's revert back to B into A dot C. So this is A dot C. This is a component of.
Sir, I think it should be AJ.
AJ. No,
And
JJ
they,
is repeated, so BL, and second one is KK is repeated, so it should be CL, and then these are dummy indices, it doesn't matter. In this, you are talking in this expression,
yes, sir. In that expression, the second term,
second term, this one
the
or
the
this one.
the yes, sir, that one.
That one should be KK. Oh, okay. No, this K and this K, so it would be CL, and then JM. These are what happens is that when I do it, it becomes uh, BJAM, AJ. This is what it comes. So I simply replace that repeated index to be K, and then I
Oh, okay,
simply
okay,
have
okay.
this. Okay. So the dummy indices are named conveniently as I want. That's a confusing and interesting part of tensor analysis. You have A dot B here. Okay. So this is a vector identity actually you have. You have obtained using, yeah, some of you can remember it. That's good. So there is a bigger challenge for your memory here. So the question is, what is A cross B into C cross D? Okay, I leave it for you to do it for 10 minutes. So you do it on your own. You remember this sheet, whichever you are doing, writing here has to be uploaded to VLearn. So you do it. Today's class going to be somewhat like this. We use various these identity to do some exercise and get familiarized with the notation, handling the indices up and down and so on. So that's an important part of GR. Main lecture would continue with the tensor analysis or Riemann geometry to be precise. Yeah, you finish this, I give you 10 minutes. $10 is a rather long time, but yeah, this is you should be able to quickly do it. Okay, is it done?
Sir, is it A dot C into B dot D minus A dot D into B dot C?
Yeah, I guess so. So this way you can get all the vector identities. This is cross product, dot product, various combination can be deducted using this epsilon ijk gives the cross product, and dot product anyway you know. So combining this you can get most of the even complex vector identity in a slightly simpler manner. Okay, so any questions other than answer itself? Any difficulty?
Can you repeat the answer again?
No, I said other than answers.
Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, can you means that identity that we are using that of that permutation, sir, can you derive it once? Means I am not familiar with.
No, which identity? This one, epsilon.
Epsilon IAB into epsilon I.
There is no derivation. It's like an identity which you have to remember. So let me come to a more general identity. So easiest way is to relate it to the determinant. So that is how we all remember it. It is not that we are going to derive. I never thought of this could be derivable. Maybe it's my shortcoming, or I don't remember I ever seen a derivation of this. It's just given to you. It's an identity. So it's like a religion, you accept it and move on. So this is what you have to mug up. So rest would come simply where you use it. Okay. So there is not possible to derive it. Maybe possible, at least I don't know how to do it.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So this is identity, but it comes from the more, you can substitute each value and see, but there is this one. You don't contract anything. You can simply take this epsilon ijk, epsilon pqr. This is equal to delta ip. So you have to get used to it if you are not familiar with. Do some of the problems. I think these are very common in some of the GR books. I am using either Narliker's or this Todd's book, or whichever you want to take. You can see it should be there, or it is there. Okay, so this is a more complex thing. There is no dot product here. So you have a full, how do you say, 6 indices. They all reflected, and you don't want to write the long expression. I simply give in terms of determinant. Okay, so this identity relates this 3-legged antisymmetric tensor with their product to the determinant of delta ij. So this immediately you are able to establish a relation relationship. Let's say that you have a matrix or a second rank tensor in 3 cross 3 space. It works only in 3 cross 3 three-dimensional space. It doesn't go beyond or less, because antisymmetric tensor will have a rank of the dimension itself. So it doesn't come with the lower rank or higher rank. So all we are doing here is works only for 3-dimensional. It can't be done to 4-dimension, but in 4-dimension you would get a similar identity. We can write it down. Once you know how to handle them, they how to handle is very same. So let's look at this determinant of a U matrix can be now expressed in terms of epsilon ij k into U IP UJQ and UKR into epsilon PQR. So you see that it basically comes from this messy identity. You can replace each element into element of Uij for them, and then manipulate this expression, and you would end up in getting this. So it's a very tedious way of writing this in terms of an arbitrary matrix and its determinant given by this. But you can immediately calculate the determinant of the thing. But determinant also, we know that if you have 3 vectors A, B, and C, okay, you know that scalar triple product A dot B cross C is a determinant, as you have rows replaced by these 3 vectors, and that we can write it in terms of now vector identity PQR, AP, BQ, and CR. So this is actually determinant or scalar triple product, which is given by this. If the 3 vectors are in the straight line or in a plane, this would be 0. This essentially represents the volume formed by the 3 vectors A, B, C. You know, interpretation of scalar triple product in terms of volume spanned by the 3 vectors. If the 3 vectors are in a same plane, then this would be 0. So that is also coming, because one can be expressed in terms of other, at least 2 of our linear combination, then using the properties of epsilon IJK, you know it is 0. So let's go ahead. So this is just calculation. So let us go ahead and do calculus, vector calculus. So gradient. So how do we write gradient of a scalar? Okay, so if phi is a scalar, you represent the gradient like this, and that would be simply d phi by dxi. So this is a gradient of a scalar. So this how you denote in terms of that. Now let's look at this. This is a notation. Don't get confused. This is a notation of gradient, and this is actually the partial differentiation with the coordinate xi. So important relation here is delta j delta k minus delta k delta j of phi is equal to 0. So if you write it in terms of your normal differentiation, the first term would be d square phi by dxj dxk, and the second term would be del square phi by dxk dxj, but this is the simple partial differentiation. You can interchange them and that would be cancels out to be 0. Now this means to say that epsilon ijk into delta j delta k of phi equal to 0. So this is equal to this. Okay. So this antisymmetric is built in because this epsilon ijk is antisymmetric. But you see that this differentiation is symmetric and this is antisymmetric. So this is going to be 0. So this is equivalent to stating this in terms of vector, in terms of index notation. Now the divergence of vector v is given as a del dot v. Okay.
Sir, can you scroll up? Sir, can you scroll up a bit? Means.
Can you see the whole thing?
Yes, sir. Fine.
Okay. In the index notation, you simply write it as a del I vi. This is also equal to del I vi. Okay, so this is the divergence. Now, curl of v. The curl is what? Del cross v. Now we know how to do del cross. So the same is applicable to differential operator also. So you can simply write down ijk, okay, del j vk. Of course, there you can't flip j and k here because you know it has a different meaning here. The differential operator act on the vector component vk, and this is how you define your del cross or curl of a vector field. Now, of course, you can continue like this. We can have a divergence of curl of v. So that would be del I epsilon ijk into del j pk. So you can put a bracket if you want. The curl of gradient of phi scalar, that would be epsilon ijk del j del k phi. So these are the basic identities we have been using. So let's get to more complicated identity vector calculus. Anyone remembers what is this? This comes in somewhere in electrodynamics and so on. What is this? No?
A gradient of divergence of v minus grad square v.
Okay, so that is where you get you know, the del square in your electromagnetic. Let's do this. It is very similar to what we have done earlier, but only one point you have to keep, that del phi has to operate in the differential operator rule. It's not a simple number as a component of vector. So that is the only care we have to take. So here I have written explicitly. So del cross v. So epsilon ijk del j epsilon klm del m and vm. Now we can simply bring in epsilon is a number, so it doesn't really matter. And I can also adjust the index, rotate it once. It doesn't matter because it's a cyclic combination. And then we can use property that the contraction between the two epsilon ijk in terms of delta ij. Now you see there is a difference here, so you cannot simply pull in and write it as a vector component as we have done earlier. This is a differential operator, so it would act on whatever inside. But this epsilon ijk is constant, so it won't matter. So other two we have to worry. Now we use the product rule of a differentiation. We write it as a epsilon ijk, epsilon klm. Now first one would be del j, del l, vm. Okay, we need a bigger bracket outside. The second one would be del L, del J, Vm. Okay, so it should be like this. Now try to open the bracket or write down your complicated rule. Did I make mistake? Should we expand this using the chain rule or no? Okay, some of the terms would get cancelled, doesn't matter. Let's do it. Delta I, delta L, delta J, delta M minus delta I, M delta, what is that, J L into del dot del L Vm plus del L into del J Vm. So all these complicated things have to be done. First one is what happens. Can you see this? Oh, we don't have to use chain rule here. It is the same thing. You see that it doesn't lead to anything. This are same. So that is the advantage of your tensor rule, that even if you have forgotten and become an old and forgetful, if you only consistently do things, it would give you correct result. Can you figure out whether I did or wrong or right?
So since they are just differential operators, it doesn't matter whether you multiply in what order. So I think
yeah, it is both are differential operators, so it doesn't matter at all. So you will simply have to, but even if you do, it is just you are increasing your number of steps, and otherwise they are same. So it doesn't really matter. That is what the answer is about. So then you can simplify this, take this contraction delta L. If you do it, some two term would get cancelled out, some of them, and get the result. So you can do the, this is not R, it should be, okay. So this step is in a way incorrect. You would get an extra 2, but you don't need to expand the differentiation. If it were a vector, then you would have to do it. If it is a differential operator, then you don't need. Suppose here you had a AL VM, okay? Then you had to do the product rule, but if it is a differential itself, then you don't have to do it. So this would cancel out in any way. So we remove it. That was a wrong step. don't hesitate to make mistake. I am particularly very fond of making mistake myself. Sometime it is to check whether you are paying any attention, or I am just talking to my iPad, so I don't know whether it is really reaching up there or not. Okay, so now you expand this, you would see
Sir,
this.
can you repeat why did you remove that?
Okay, so it's like this. What did the mistake I do? When you take a differentiation, okay, dx by dt, you do a dot b. So what would you do? So you would use the product rule, it is called, I believe. I have forgotten, you know, I studied it so long back. So I simply do it like this: dA by dx into b plus, do I have time, space there? No, no space or no time. So this into dB by dx. So this is what you would do, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now, instead of this, let's say I have d by dx into d by dx of b. Then I won't write it as d square by dx square b, that is coming from the first, and the second one is dx by dx into d by dx of b. It is the same because that is d square by dx, so that would be same. And b. So I won't use product rule for this because it's a differential operator acting on the differential operator. You don't need to use the product rule. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay.
Yes,
so
sir.
the same way, this is the differential operator itself. I should not, in principle, use a chain rule. It's just the second. It becomes a second order differential operator. That's all. So this is sometime hindsight of doing things, you know, mechanically. So that's why you have to keep your thinking hat all the time on, not try to do with the, though it is a mechanics, you should not mechanically do it. Okay, so now it has been cleared what is a mistake and what is a solution. You can simply go ahead and do this. The first term is a J and M. So first term would have a J and M contraction. J and M contraction, and the second one will have a J and L. J and L is this second order. So what would you get at the end of the day is del M, del I, Vm. Again, dummy indices, you can call those anything you want, except the free index here is a I. So I have to retain its form. So now we have this simplified. We could write it in terms of the vector notation. So this we can flip it. There is no problem. We have seen that at least in this case, it is symmetric. And here there is no need to flip anything. They are good to go. Okay, I have flipped this differential operator here, that we know that it is just a partial differentiation, so you can flip it up. So then you left with the del of del dot v, okay, minus del dot, that is del square v. Okay, this is del square v. Now, this is one of the important factor to be seen here. You see that del square phi Laplace equation is simply del square xi, okay, phi, or you simply have del square, right? Del square here. Now that is for scalar. When you do del square for the tensor vector, so you have an identity here. You can replace what we started with is actually, what is it? Del cross V equal to del into del dot V minus del square V. From this we get the definition. What is the meaning of del square for a vector? It is not simply this differential operator. It is much more complicated than that. You will see later in our Riemann geometry, you can do it for various guys like first rank tensor, second rank tensor, and so on. Now let's see for the vector. This is an important expression. So you have, this is what we call is a del square in a 3 dimension for a vector. It is not actually as simple as d square phi v by d x square plus d square v by dy square plus d square v by dz square. It is actually much more complicated than this. You may think that I am preaching you some unnecessary point, but I have seen people making, assuming that the del square of a vector is simply this. It is not that. It is that term plus something else is coming. I have seen even papers in American Journal of Physics doing these kind of mistakes. So you see electromagnetism, that is one of the lessons one should be learning, that del square V is equal to this quantity. Of course, if it electromagnetic, yeah.
But that quantity, I mean the first term that you circled, that does not equal the thing that you wrote in the left corner. Del square V should be the thing that you wrote, right?
No, it does. If the Euclidean coordinates,
in the first term that you've circled on the right hand side, that is the gradient of the divergence of V. So that will be the gradient operator acting on del V del x plus del V del y plus del V del z.
Okay, let's expand this. We have it here anyway. So where is it? So it is a del V x by del x. It's a vector or scalar. What is it? It's a scalar, right? Del y by del y plus del v z by del x. This is what you get, and then del of that. So del of that is what happens. You have each component would have more this thing. So you have del. First component would be del square Vx by del x square plus del square Vy by del x del y del x plus Vz. Yeah, it's more complicated than what you.
Sir, and when you add all this and subtract the second term, you will in fact get the left hand side, the corner that you're written.
You think so?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Because that is in fact del square. When you say del dot del acting on the V, so del dot del, if you evaluate, it is del square by del x square plus del square by del y square plus del square by del z square, and that will act on the vector field.
Yeah,
and that can, this is just an identity. So after subtracting those,
del square of this del square of a vector is not going to be just this.
Sir, it will be that, I feel.
Yeah,
No, this is a scalar, right? Del square v is a vector. This will
yeah,
be del square v del x square x cap plus del square v by del y square y cap. That would be the vector.
yeah, it is a vector, so it is you
No, no,
can
no.
derive
V itself is a vector, right? You don't need to
yeah.
put an I cap, J cap after that. When you're taking the differentiation of a vector field, you're gonna get a vector field only.
Yeah. No. This if you can show this, it would be nice. I know that it is not same because you would get that this thing. So you take that as a exercise. You do explicitly this calculation and see whether you are getting what you are getting. So if you see that it is simply del square x and so on. So let us see what happens. Okay. So these things
Sir,
can
if you just go to the previous term, we had gotten del j vi.
This one, you see that
No, previous to that. I mean,
this one.
Before we wrote it in this form. Yeah, the one above that. We wrote minus del j
See,
vi.
you see that for each component, you have a one term coming from, let's say, this. Okay. Let me pull this factor out. Some extra terms are coming, that's all right. It's just a blank. Okay, let's get rid of this. Okay, now we can patch it up a little bit. So what is this? This is del square by del x square of Vx. Okay, that is the first component. Now it is what my claim is that it is not going to be del x square by del square I.
So it's not necessarily x component. The del square by that is the del square by del.
No,
that is the jth component of the derivative, and v is the ith component.
No, there is only one free index is I. So that's only free things. You can't have anything more there. So you have basically, let me expand that. Where is it? This is wrong. Okay. So it is actually del square, and this also need to have a del square by del y square Vx plus del square Vy z by del z square. Okay. So now this one, let's see what we have is del by del x of del x by Vm plus del y by Vx, del Vy and del Vz by dz. Okay, so this is the x component. So you see that this one is going to give you the x component del square Vx by del x square plus del square V. Okay, why I write again? We have not completely able to use the technology. So you have this term minus, okay, you can subtract any one of them from other. So what you have?
So this term that you've written is the x component, right?
Yeah, it is the x component. So this is also x, all only x component I have written. YZ component will be there. So we have this term. Oh, where is my pen? Okay, there is a minus sign here. One of them should carry minus sign. So this one would cancel out this, right? That is all going to happen. So del x y, del x so. So what you get is the result would be simply del square Vx by del y square minus plus del square Vy by del z square minus del square x del y Vy minus del square Vz by del x del z. So this is going to be the x component. Same way you can write y and z component.
Yeah, sir, but I don't see the necessity for cancelling it out, because in the end we want the identity to be separately two terms, right? One is the gradient of the divergence minus the nabla square acting on V. Like,
yeah,
if you cancel it out, then we won't see the big picture here. Like I'd say
there is
let
no
the two
way
terms be.
others are, these terms are going to cancel. You mean to say when I write this alone?
Yeah. If you're going to cancel, you're just going to get LHS equal to RHS. I'm just saying that the right hand side term, which is the del J del J Vi, that is in fact the thing that you've written, that del square V by del X square plus del square V by del Y square.
Let us see, is it
It will
the
exactly be the same.
del dot, what was that?
I'm just focusing on the right hand side term.
Okay, so let us do the calculation. That might be little longer. So we this, if it doesn't cancel out, other side it is going to come one term, and this need to be done. Okay, so the other side I don't know how to do it. Del cross what is that? V, right? What is this expression? How do we do it? So first one would be simply, okay. So you know how to do it in the normal ijk, is it? And del by del x, del by del y, del by del z, and then vx, vy, vz. Okay, let's do this. What happens? Let's, which component we should take? We need all the components. So we would have a dvz by dy minus dvz by dy into I plus dy by dx minus dvy by dx into j plus d by dx z minus dv, what is it? dv x by dz. Is it correct?
So del
Now,
cross is with the this thing. Like now we have to take the
one more step is there. So I j k d by, here we don't have to do the whole stuff. We can simply do only one. So this ith component would be dv. Oh, we don't worry. So let's write this only, dv by dy minus dvy by dx. Other one is dvz by dx minus dvx by dz. Okay. So now ith component would be d by dy of dv, what is this, z, and dx minus dvx by dz. That is minus, right, d by dy of of what happens? dy by dz.
The second term after minus should be dy dz.
Z. It should be Z. Z times dvx by dy minus dvy by dx. Okay, now you have d square dx dy vz minus d square vx by dy dz minus d square by dy dz vx. This is plus dz dx vy. Okay, so this is a term which we got. So what happens? What are the extra terms which we have there on the previous one? So we don't, you say we don't have to bother this. Okay, that need to be kept same. Is it? So we have 4 terms there. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms here. Let's see that Vx, we have taken only x component here, right? Okay. Vx by Vy square, is that term there? It's not there. Okay. This you say will remain. You say this would go away, is it? dvx by, no, they don't cancel out.
So which term are you saying?
No, on the right hand, let me clean this up and write the right hand side again. Okay. Okay, so let us write this term here. So what do we have? We have a d by dx square vx, okay, plus, okay, let us have a minus here, d by dy square vx minus dvz by d. The other term there is a d, this is a plus x d by dx, only x component we are taking, and into dx vx plus dy vy plus dvz by dz. So this we can pull it in. So we have, let's get rid of this x square dx and x square dx. So you mean to say this term would be cancelled out with this? Vx, Vy, Vz. We have Vx, Yz is there. But that is with the minus sign. This is with the plus sign. So Vy, Vz, Vx.
Vx, Yz derivative, I think they are cancelling each other out, right? Like there are 2 plus and minus terms in the bottom.
Yeah, yeah. No, I am looking at which one. Vy, Vz, Vx. Vy, Vx, Vz. That term is not there. Vy, we have only Vy, Vx. No, you see, that is a point. It doesn't cancel out. Vz, Vx, Vy. Vz, No, it doesn't cancel out. You see that is what I was telling about. It is much more complicated. I have not really tried this, or if I've tried, I did it so long back, I have no clue left about this. So I ask you all to do this and check whether I have goofed up in something or not. Let's have a whole thing in a page. You see that these terms don't cancel out. Now, when we do the same thing with respect to the Riemann tensor, not Riemann tensor, in the Riemann space, you will see that each one have a different meaning. So, what does del square of scalar and del square of vector and del square of tensor? They are all different things. It is not equivalent of simply this, which is del x square phi del square y by del y square phi and so on. So the more complicated term comes. This is the example of that. You see that this term, which you would have this multiplied by this, so we can keep this term. Let's not worry about this. You have this term is actually not cancelling out with this and this term. So that makes things whole complicated, unless I made again mistake somewhere here.
So there must be some algebraic error, because in fact the term that you have written, the del j and vi, that
no,
in fact
let us see
that is
why
the del square v term, right? That's the Nabla square.
Why there should be an error. See, del square, del cross, cross. I have got this one. The first term is v I is vy vz. Let me use this. So this term, this into this into this. So that is this. There is no mistake here. So the second term here is this and this. So that is here. There is no mistake.
Sir, that is del by del z.
Okay. So this is this term and this term and this, right? Did I make a mistake here?
So there should be a del by del z over there.
Yeah. So
you did y.
Let us remove this. I think this is a mistake. So we have here del z. What is this? We have del x. No, I is del y, del z minus del up. Something got erased. Del, okay, del. Let me use this. So this into this. So that is del z and del y. That's correct. Next one, let's go. Here we have del x into del z. Okay, so that is a mistake, is it? Is that so? So this, the next term should be this into this. That is, where did this come from? Okay, let us rewrite this term. So it should be del x by vz. So I think we found the mistake. Del z by del x. Okay, that's done. Next is del vx. Del vx by del z. Is that okay?
And whole minus.
No, that whole minus is somewhere taken care, I think. Isn't it?
No, sir. No. You've done plus this thing j cap. No, it should be minus bracket j cap.
Okay, so the earlier equation was correct then.
No, but there won't be any y's. There would be
yeah,
z and x only.
So this would be Z. So this would be Z and this would be Vx. The other one would be X minus this would be Vz. So now we are falling in line. Okay. So
Yes.
let's look at the third one. The third one is this Vzx, okay, minus Vzx. This
Sir,
is
here
correct.
also, no, here also it should be del Vy by del X.
Okay, del
Not-
okay, I seems to have forgotten how to take a determinant itself. So you seems to be in a bad hands to learn GR. I don't know how to even to take the determinant. So Vx by, this should be Y. Okay, so is it now
Yes.
correct? Okay, now let's remove this. And we can remove this. So what do we have now? Keep a close eye on what I am doing, okay? So I seems to be messing up things rather more easily. Is it correct? Yes?
Sir, which components have you written exactly? Is it the first and second
No, I
component?
didn't write the first one, second and third under these two. Okay. So now we can take only ith component we need. So del by del y into dvy by dz, okay, minus del vx by del y minus del v del z by.
Sir, third component you have written wrong, sir. That del Vy del X will be.
Del Vy,
Del Vy del
this is the X, is it?
Sir, that you
This
have written.
one.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. Del Vy del X, sir.
Del Vy. Oh, okay, this is not Z. Okay, now is it correct?
Sir, that
Del
you have
V-
written del Vy del X will be. Del Vy del X means, sir, you have written above third component. Sir.
This one, okay? This should be X.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Then this would be correct, I believe. It was X. Now it's okay?
Yes, sir, yes.
Okay, so far good. Now keep a watch. It is fun doing all this with a lot of mistakes. Okay, so now let's see what does cancels and what does not cancel. That again messed up on the top, is it? So let's rewrite this.
Sir, we can just do a simple algebraic step in the expression that we have got. We have 4 terms. We can just add del square Vx by del x square and subtract the same term.
Yes, we could do that, but I am a bit slow in doing algebra, so I want to do this. This would be what we said here. We have a del squared del x square Vx plus del square Vy by del y square plus del square V. This has to be x only, x by vz squared. Do you agree with this term? This has to be minus, minus, and minus. And then plus you would have a del by del x square, x square Vx plus del square del x del y Vy plus del square Vz by del x del z. Okay. Now we are good, I think. So, okay.
Yeah, so the 2 terms cancel out over here.
2 terms, which are the 2 terms?
Sorry, it was Vx. So the plus del square, instead of Vy, it is Vx.
First term?
The 6 terms that you have written.
This is Vx.
That will be del square Vx by del x square. Yeah.
So this term.
Yeah, now it's correct.
Okay. Now let us this term getting cancelled out with this. Okay. And this term getting cancelled out with this. Okay. Then what happens? We are still left with the.
No. I was not saying cancelling that. In the expression that you've got, you have minus del square Vx by del x square and plus Vx by del x square. So that is 0 basically.
This term we have to retain as it is, you say, right? Because that is what is our del square. Okay, let's see what cancels out on the other terms. Let's see. Okay, so what do we have here? This Vx, del x, del y, this doesn't cancel out. But Vy term is, oh, okay, there is one more mistake here. Or Vy?
No, sir, it's correct. I think all the 4 terms appear on the top also.
Okay, so we have this getting cancelled, right? This we can cancel out. And then what we have here, the other one is Vz, Xz. This cancels out with this. Okay. Then you have a del square minus. Yes, you are correct. It is, in fact, is true. What is happening in this case? Okay. So that is true. Now we will see why it is true. I will give you an explanation later when I am doing the Riemann geometry. So it happens because of the commutation of these 2 guys. Otherwise, it would take the complicated equation. So this is true for only in the Cartesian coordinate system. If you are doing in the polar coordinate system, this would change. Okay. So it is true for the Cartesian coordinate system only.
Sir?
Yeah. You understand?
Sorry, sir, but I lost track of the original question.
Huh?
I lost track of the original question. What was the question you're trying to answer?
No, the answer was this, whether del square of a vector should be written as a del x square into Vx plus del square Vx into y square plus del square Vy into z square into I, okay, plus same thing with the this xy, this differential operator remaining same, v y plus del square v y by v y square plus del square v z by del z square j and so on into k. So whether it can be written or not, I was telling it shouldn't be written. It turns out that in the Cartesian coordinate system, in fact, it can be written, and that is what has been we found out after doing the long calculations. Okay, so okay, it has been good fun doing this. Some of you might have got bored, but nevertheless, this is a way to do science that one has to eventually clarify with the proper mathematics, irrespective of what you feel right and what you feel wrong. And anyone could be wrong, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Sir, I mean, I'm thinking, was it necessary to like proceed in this way? I mean, what I was thinking was, we are doing everything in Cartesian coordinates, right?
Yeah.
So the thing you have written in the left-hand side, you have written this grad square v vector.
Yeah.
So if you substitute v vector as vx I cap plus vy j cap plus vz k cap,
yeah,
you have because this is Cartesian coordinates, so your basis is constants, right? I mean,
yeah,
I cap, j cap, k cap.
Yeah.
So the grad square basically operates on scalar functions multiplied by constants. I mean,
yeah.
and their sum basically. So I don't understand why. I mean, they should.
No.
They should
we
not
were doing to get some hands on the tensor notation. So to like these to do these exercises and so on. The results were of not primary importance here. It's basically to check this expression. What is del square? For example, this identity what you have, and that we know can be written like this. So that is what I was telling about. In fact, result is in fact doesn't matter if you can calculate it in whichever way. So this is to get your teeth on the index notation rather than result. These are vector calculus results, you know, which you might be at hand because you guys are going through all these courses such as math methods, EM theory, and so on, which I have been studied long back. So I am more familiar with what happens when you don't have this condition satisfied. See, this is a critical condition here. Okay, so that we have been using extensively. So that would give rise to this. But otherwise, in the proper tensor, it would not happen. That we will do in the main class. This is how to play around with the indices. That is the main goal here. Okay. Okay, so I'm sure you are all expert. I'm glad that we went through this exercise. At least I have learned something, if not you. You probably already knew this. I am though not sure how will I use this information. But let's go ahead with this. This epsilon delta tensor can be written in 4 dimension too. So you have it has a dimension of your space. So in this case, if you go for 4 dimension, it would have a same rule applicable here. It is a even permutation. Odd permutation, it is -1 and 0 if index are same. So this is a way you do it for 4 dimension. Many of these calculations would go through, except you need only, I managed to squeeze it somewhere. Okay, let's take this. we say that in the paper you should be more careful because you are killing a tree when you write down something. Here I am writing it electronically, so we are killing less trees. We kill trees anyway because we need power to run these gadgets. So this is an identity like what we have. This is a big 4x4 matrix. I will write one row. Rest it should be trivial comparing with this. So then you can do all kind of algebra here too, and satisfy yourself how you can do it on the n dimension. So this is a epsilon ijk is an important quantity which we call it is not a tensor. That is a different ball game. We will do that sometime. Now this is like a one index match. So this is what often we need compared to other expression. So this is the 3x3 matrix. You have F A, which way did I use? Okay. Delta G, delta H. A is gone. So you have to have a B, 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 and delta F, delta G, delta H, C, 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 and delta F, delta G, delta H, D, D, D. So you could look for the full expression in, I think, Landau's book. Somewhere in the first chapter, in the footnote, he gives all these expression with some numerical factor here. So then you can contract two of the indices, then you would get this determinant, and you have all of them, then it would give you some number. So I request you to look at the exact identity in the book by Classical Theory of Field by Landau and Lipschitz. In the first chapter, somewhere in the footnote, it is given these identities with the proper numbers. So those will be useful in calculating various things in the four-dimensional space. When you talk about space-time, one important difference you have to note that this would be minus 0, 1, 2, 3. Otherwise, in the Minkowski space, it should not. In the Riemann's, no, in the Euclidean space, it should not matter. In the case of Minkowski space, the upper and lower differs by a sign. So that you should be able to see in any books. Okay, so this because of some carelessness from my side, it has taken a bit long. I did not realize those relation, or even if it is realized, I have forgotten it long back. So this you see that it works out nicely. So it's a different thing. In general result, it might be different. That we will do maybe in the next class. By that time, we would have covered covariant differentiation and some properties of Riemann tensor. Okay. Any questions?
Sir, do we have to submit this tutorial?
This one? Yes, yes, indeed. We have went through all this trouble. You don't want me to see what you have done?
Okay.
All tutorial have to be submitted. There is no go.
Okay.
So can you show the last page?
The last page, you have to fill in this equation with exact numerical factor from the book. All the books will have it, but I refer you to specific book for the reason that I would also appreciate if you read the first chapter, if not first chapter, few sections of first chapter from the Classical Theory of Field by Landau and Lifshitz. It's an interesting argument which he gives, good to read for all the people who are doing GR or special theory of relativity. We will not follow that book, but that one chapter or half a chapter or few sections, first few sections are no other book describes so beautifully the idea of special theory of relativity. Yeah, you will have to submit this 10 o'clock today, 10 p.m. today. Any questions?
Sir, can you repeat the name that Landau and means?
Yeah, Landau Lifshitz, it is called the Courses in Theoretical Physics. The volume is called the Classical Theory of Fields. It is not in the list of books because it was, I am not going to use it as a textbook. It's a bit higher level, but I will definitely refer it for a few sections as we go along. The introduction to special theory of relativity on the first chapter is definitely worth reading. Okay, any questions? I'll put the reference of that book in the VLearn so that you have that list with the exact title, details, and so on.
Sir, do you have to write all the calculation, I mean, that you wrote for showing
Yeah,
that?
I wrote it not for my learning, you see, I wrote it for your learning, so you better write it.
Okay.
It looks like you are all more familiar with that on you than me, so it shouldn't be too difficult for you to write. Some rule we keep following it. Sometime it might look illogical. This one, writing this definitely is not illogical. So you better do it. This is the third week.
Created the portal. We have not created the portal in VLearn to upload the file for this tutorial.
Yeah, not yet done. This will be done. You have time till 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I will create it now, so it should be fine.
Okay.
Still falling behind the video lectures. That would come one more. Most important of all the lectures is on the covariant derivative that I am still preparing. Make it in as easy as possible or as logical as possible. Okay, any more questions? Okay, if there are no questions, I will stop recording and we'll stop here. I'll create the upload link in VLearn. right away.